Okay, so I wanted to do this video. Actually, I'm going to turn the camera on the other way. I wanted to do this video on my Jaguar, actually my wife's Jaguar X-Type. Purchased this car for her a couple of weeks back as a daily runner. And I want to give you a little bit of information as to what my experience has been. 3 days after I purchased the vehicle, actually when I purchased the vehicles, there was no lights on the car whatsoever. 3 days after purchasing this vehicle, I'm getting these two lights. Okay? Those two lights jumped on, and you can see the mileage, 70,000 miles on it, pretty much 79, almost 80,000 miles on the car. The car runs like it's brand new. It smells new. It looks new for the most part on the interior. And what we're experiencing now is the car is running in safe mode. Now, with that being said, when you're running in safe mode, these new vehicles, these vehicles that are coming out now with these concealed or these sealed transfer cases, in other words, there's no dipstick whatsoever to be able to check the transmission level fluid in your vehicle. That is a sealed transmission case, transfer case. Okay, now what's inside that transmission case? There are solenoids embedded in the transfer case, which electronically reads and times the balancing and the performance of your transmission. Now, when one of those go bad, let's say for whatever reason, this vehicle, particularly here, I noticed that the oil level went kind of low for what reason. So I got under the car, and to my dismay, the so-called mechanic did not do a great job whatsoever as far as putting a new, how did he say it? He put a new, first he told me to put a new engine in here. Come to find out it's not a new engine. He redid the heads on this vehicle. And for some reason it's been leaking a little bit every day. I come out, I see a little drop of oil. Okay? And apparently what has happened is that upon it sitting, I'm not clear as to exactly how much oil has leaked out of the system thus far. So I checked the dipstick last night. It was a little bit below. There's two dots where that oil has to meet and level right between those two dots, and you know that your oil level and your pressure is good. So when I checked it last night, it was below those two dots. So I put oil in it, make a long story short, put it in the car, and the car started running really well. Then it threw the car into safe mode. So now, explaining the safe mode system on the vehicle is pretty much the same thing as when you log onto a laptop computer the wrong way. If you shut it down improperly, or you try to log on it in such a way that it goes back into F1 or F3, it's going to throw your computer into a safe mode. And you won't be able to bypass that until you actually do a hard reset or hard start on the computer system. It's pretty much the exact same thing in the Jaguars and all these exotic, expensive European cars. It's the exact same thing. So now, what I want you to understand and see, nice Corvette supercharged. What I want you to understand and see is, I'm running in safe mode right now, and it's pretty much locked into the third gear. All right, that third gear, if you ride a motorcycle, I want you to look at it like this. If you start a motorcycle in third gear, if you apply too much pressure, it's going to jump, it's going to hesitate, and then it's going to shut off. Okay? So what happens with the car is that you're going to get a very, very sluggish, slow start. So what you want to be aware of is that you don't want to apply too much pressure to the gas, all right, on your initial takeoff. You want that car to catch up with itself. You want to apply just a little bit of pressure of gas, applying the gas pedal, applying a little bit of pressure to give you gas to catch up with the momentum of the vehicle. If I said that correctly. In other words, you want to start off really slow. You don't want to step on the brake, step on the gas and try to take off. All right, because you're going to have a problem. What you're going to do is that you're going to burn that third gear out. Now, right now, when it's running in safe mode, you are able to run at 70 miles an hour. All right, this car is running at 70 miles an hour. I'm on my way to work. I would not run this car more than 2 days like this. I would not do that. I wouldn't run this car more than 2 days. Okay? You risk the possibility of burning your gears out in the third gear, and then you're going to have to replace your transmission. So what's going to happen is, I refuse to put my wife in this vehicle until I actually checked the vehicle completely out. And I'm glad that I did that, because she's always on the road with my daughter. So I don't need her to be stuck somewhere, and I'm stuck at work. And how things work here in Alabama, you just can't up and leave work without receiving penalization, which is very weird to me. So with that being said, let's get off of that. But with that being said, I'm not going past 70 miles an hour, nor am I going to run this vehicle tomorrow. Okay, so this vehicle is going to the dealer tomorrow, and we're going to pull the codes to find out exactly what's going on. So now let's digress back a little bit about the computer in safe mode. All right, so now, even if the oil pressure went a little bit low in this car, all right, and it kicked it into safe mode, all right, even though I put fresh oil in the car, it's still going to stay in safe mode until I actually plug up to the computer system, the OBD2 diagnostic system down here, until I plug that up and clear the codes. All right, once I clear those codes, it's going to allow that solenoid that's inside, that's skipping or locked out, it's going to reactivate that solenoid, allowing this car's transmission to shift properly through all the gears. Now, I'm not going to do it now, but it'd be just my luck I do it and something happens. I can shift the car, I can shift the gearbox from drive to 4 to 3, all the way up to 2, and nothing's going to happen. It's not going to jerk, it's not going to sputter, it's not going to hesitate to flip forward. And a regular transmission that's operating properly, if I did that, this car, you'll hear the gears drop. The car's going to drop, it's going to get heavy, it's going to slow down. It's allowing your engine to slow the vehicle down. All right, so we're not going to do that right now, but if I put this vehicle through those gears, it will not do that because it's locked into the third gear. So with that being said, you are able to drive this vehicle the way it's made, not just this vehicle, but most Jaguars and most of these expensive European cars. You're able to drive this vehicle in safe mode, maintaining the speed of law for that particular state. And usually from New Jersey, all right, you get through Virginia 75, but from New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, on down to Tennessee, all right, on down here to Alabama, you're going to be able to run between 45 and 75 miles an hour. And that's what this vehicle is doing right now without any problems whatsoever. Will I continue to do that? I would not advise anyone to continue to drive their expensive vehicle at this condition right here. So I wanted to just pretty much do a video. I've seen quite a few different videos. However, I didn't see any videos whatsoever explaining or running through what it looks like, what your vehicle looks like or feels like to drive in safe mode. How it feels is it's heavy. It's kind of heavy. Don't forget, we're starting off in the third gear, so it's kind of heavy, and it feels as if it's having a hard time trying to get out of its own way. If that gives you any indication of how the vehicle is actually driving right now. Am I maintaining the speed? I am. I'm keeping up with traffic, if not passing traffic. Here goes a truck on the side of me, and we're running neck and neck. I would have passed him, but there's a truck in front of us, so therefore I'm not going to go past him and put any more stress on the transmission or on the motor at this point. So I'm just going to tail behind this truck right here, and I'm still at 65, trailing behind this truck in front of me. I'm keeping up with the flow of traffic. I'm able to get to my destination. And with that being said, I hope that this particular video explained a little bit. You know, I'm not quite sure if I hit all the points, but I'm quite sure that I gave you a little bit of insight, just in case you have one of these cars and all of a sudden, oh shoot, I got lights on and my car is acting funny. This is the explanation as to why it's acting funny. Okay, so with that being said, digressing again, I will not be able to have this vehicle to run up past 80 miles an hour until I clear those codes and allowing that solenoid to free up and fire and send the proper signals throughout the transmission system. Okay, with that being said, have a great day.